And coming up in the next 60 minutes here on Joy News Prime, Western Region Police set to arraign 3 students charged with murder and robbery before court for burning to death a Bolt driver who was also a Navy officer at Sekendi Bakwano. We'll bring you the chilling details and take you live to the town where online drivers have begun to be fearing and they have been gripped with fear.
They are currently in our custody and they'll be sent to court tomorrow. Unfortunately, everyone, what your tree has passed on.
Also, Paramount Chief of Command and 2 others died in a ghastly accident on the Kumasi-Konongo Road. For our Drive Safe campaign, we'll hear from the Ashanti Regional MTTD Commander.
Yes, Ubia Namuswa, Onshu, the Nonkwa, and Namuso.
Also tonight, President Akufo-Addo touted his government's achievement in the land and natural resources sector, claiming, among others, a full operationalization of the land reclamation policy was subjected to some scrutiny. Private legal practitioner describes as strange and not enforceable a police warning to pastors and other religious leaders against prophecies that are likely to cause fear and panic and disturb public peace.
The statement the police have put out is a very strange statement. I would say its value has nothing beyond possibly advising the public of the existence of laws that we have that governs free speech.
But what are your own views on this?
Because they are causing, false alarm in the public, and people are panic.
When there's a prophecy, we should rather pray towards what God has revealed and not create issues out of it.
And later in the bulletin, A Clean Christmas will tell you the story of how the K2 South MCE is leading the metropolis to keep the city clean during the festive season.
Lomé, the capital city of Togo, is so beautiful. So we, the neighbors that are closer to, we also have to be so clean. So that is something I'm not joking with.
This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Fanofa Kukumlemli Accra. We're live on DSTV, channel 421, Go TV 144. This is the home of independent, credible, and fearless journalism. I'm Ernest Minu. Stay with us for details. Hello again, thank you very much for joining us. Now, Western Region Police is set to arraign 3 students charged with murder and robbery for burning to death a Bolt driver who was also a Navy officer at Sekendi Bakwano. The 3 students, Patrick Bedu, 18, Joseph Lord Nieje Oniku, 17, and Adolf Eshen, also 18, confessed to attempting to steal the deceased vehicle. They told the police they poured fuel on his vehicle and burnt him to death when he resisted the attack. DSP Olivia Diku is PRO for the Western Region Police Command, and she confirmed the incident to Joy News.
On 24th, around 5 p.m., our officers from our regional intelligence and operational unit were able to track and arrest 3 persons by name Patrick Bedu, he is age 18 years. Joseph Lord Ni Aje Oniku, he is age 17 years. And Adolf Eshen, 18. They are all students in Sekendi Takradi here. When they were arrested, they confessed that they were the people who set AB1 or 3 car ablaze. According to them, they wanted to steal the vehicle and sell it. But when they asked him to hand over the car, he was resistant. As a result, they poured fuel on him and set him ablaze. Unfortunately, AB1, what your tree has passed on. But so once a crime has been committed, we still have to continue with the investigation. They are currently in our custody and they'll be sent to court tomorrow.
Has any charges been leveled against them as of now?
Yeah, definitely to be robbery and murder.
Let me take you live to the town now. Correspondent Inathalia Kwanzaa joins us with more on this. Ina, the latest twist to this is that online drivers within the metropolis say they have been gripped with fear following this incident. Tell us more. You'd have to unmute your device, Ina, so we can hear you.
Yes, and so online drivers within the metropolis say they are afraid of their lives. Since it has happened to a colleague, it's definitely can happen to anyone. So some of them have devised the strategy that when it's 8 o'clock and you order for a driver, they wouldn't come, depending on where you are calling them from. They themselves say they have marked some areas as very dangerous, and so if you are a resident there and you order a boat, to either go there or they should pick you up from that particular part, they would never do that. Some of them also say they would have to, protect themselves with pepper spray and others, because their life is more important than the money they get from there. So, and as this is making the situation very comfortable. Myself, I had gone somewhere and then ordering a driver online was very difficult. Once it was after 9 o'clock, drivers that I ordered for all declined picking me up, and so that is the situation.
But Ina, on the night of the incident, the assemblyman for the area was at the crime scene, and he spoke about a number of issues, including the poor illumination on that particular stretch of the road. Tell us more.
Yes, and so just like you are saying, the assembly member said that that is a place that they have complained severally to the city authorities that because the street lights over there are all off, people take advantage and commit a lot of crimes like robbery, stealing, and others. And so this is, something that particular spot has been noted for. That is coming from the assembly member. And he feels that now that it has become so dangerous, someone had to be set ablaze at that particular spot. Today, it is not someone just taking away someone's phone or something. Something should be done immediately.
Yabasha car this hadi and Kali nkofo phone wo oye Katan Junction na waso opada wako confase wakaji wonenia nti car no so a boat nti obraji the other driver no phone the driver no phone odru hadi in street light and last time he complain we haina street light ni yejuma street light ni yejuma nti street light ni yejuma that means o chere when you have that when you na o chere other one robo nti ehwe boat ni ma when you driver no hadi no when you driver no do na driver no catch on okay wo confase na when you driver no sha wo the petrol go no do yehwe boat na wo shoot car no wo shoot driver na edwe na tell me wo me show we driver na tell you moja no gugu car no mpocho no hunyala boy no nya roma wa mando wanyi ko efie nkwanta because of your party prevent the life in tinya me na do ma wanyi ko efie nkwanta na ye video e de che won enti ye basra won road or a road a 77 ko fu epo wodom enti say ya ko na ya kaka the light no wa twa wa say at least no or don't change a replacement by now because a combiala dangerous no ya kasa na wetin ye na wa hwe there mbo abotu wada aboa oye road no na wa aboa sisi ano nye yinkuti obisu baba abasina hade the same to obaje na car the same car no na wa hwe no yi hwe mpocho mo hwe car no hwe wa hwe no mu ya wa hwe car no mu ni hina oye car fufuro asabi wodi ya book wodi ya book anna wa hwe no 2021 mpocho mo hwe no ma ewa mafoma kitina wacho wabasho kali front au yale bon video ni share na unde hade ya bakadu bebi amabeye first video.
So, that's the assemblyman there, essentially speaking to the situation about the poor illumination, asking city authorities to make sure that the street lights are actually working. We know that the 3 students are set to be put before court tomorrow, but do we know which school these students attend?
Well, and as the information about these students are scanty, because one, I think security personnel are trying to, calm things down, because the person involved here is not just any other person, but a naval officer. So we do not have enough information about them.
Thank you very much. That's Natalia Kwanzaa. She's our Western Region correspondent, and we'll be following up on this in court tomorrow. We'll bring you the details. Away from that, 3 persons, including the paramount chief of Kwaman near Insuta in the Ashanti region, have been confirmed dead in a ghastly accident on the Konongo-Kumasi section of the Kumasi-Accra Road. Berima Brechum Ochre Bediako II and 2 others on board a Sabura 4x4 vehicle died at the Konongo-Odumasi Government Hospital, where they have been receiving treatment after the crash. The deceased and 4 other persons on board the vehicle were traveling from the Accra-Kumasi direction of the road when they collided head-on with an oncoming Toyota Hiace minibus loaded with passengers. There's more in the following report. The deceased and 4 other persons on board the vehicle were traveling from the Accra-Kumasi direction when their car collided head-on with an oncoming Toyota Hiace minibus. Born George Osei Brechum, Nana Brechum, age 41, was also a police officer stationed at the NADMO headquarters in Accra until his death. He was said to be behind the steering wheel when the accident occurred at about 7:30 p.m. at the end of the 3-lane road on the Accra-Kumasi Road. The Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department situational report says the late paramount chief, upon reaching a spot near the Iron Bird Steel Factory on the main Konongo-Kumasi Motor Road, overtook vehicles ahead of him. He and 2 others, identified as Ernest Osei Obeng and Lydia Asari, aged 38 and 42 respectively, died whilst receiving treatment at the Konongo-Odumasi Government Hospital after sustaining various degrees of injury. Their bodies have been deposited at the Stewards Hospital morgue. Ashanti Regional Police Commander of the MTTD, Superintendent Edu Buahin, who confirmed the accident to Inshira FM, says preliminary police investigations reveal the incident was avoidable. The Ashanti Regional Commander of the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department, Superintendent Edu Buahin, has this advice for drivers and motorists during this festive season.
We plead with our drivers to be careful on our roads, especially those that are not dualized. Both motorists and pedestrians are users of the road, so we need to watch out for each other.
Na sidi sano ene volume so a ewo so no asan a ewo so no ntino ye be se ye uti bicycle ekwan no oka ho bi de onam form ekwan no oka ho bi de oti taxi mo ekwan no oka ho bi de oti minibus mo long bus ene long taxi a lodu de ma di fi aka de temo ko bukin nyina mu na ekwan no enti meka sana de meka na chere se ekwano anya ba akofo de ntino ye chano kakra tie sre se obia na muso a onhwe wu se no nko na namso no nko na kwa na ye na bia pedestrians eka ho se ye ti sa na ma we asia e na ma e be hu se o se ye tu ye bo.
Let's do some other stories now. Uncovered mine pits at an unregulated site have not only caused damage to the environment, but also resulted in a number of accidents and deaths. The pits, which are usually left uncovered by illegal miners, is the reason government launched the Land Reclamation Project as part of efforts to mitigate the devastating effects of Galamsey. President Akufo-Addo on Tuesday afternoon announced on his personal Twitter handle successes his administration has talked in the Lantern Natural Resources sector, including the full operationalization of the land reclamation policy and the intensification of the ban on illegal mining. So that's a tweet on your screens there. He talks about the discovery of iron ore in commercial quantities in the OT region, of course the land reclamation and the ban on illegal mining, which he says has been intensified. This for him are the achievements in the year under review. So let's subject this to some scrutiny, some analysis. Joining me via Zoom is the Chief Executive of the African Institute of Extractive Industries and the former Executive Secretary of the Minerals Commission, Dr. Tony Obin. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Joy News Prime. We know government began a pilot reclamation exercise at some mining sites. We know of Chebi, we also know of the Prisia area. With your knowledge of what has been happening in this area, would you agree with the claim or the assertion that this has been fully operationalized?
Well, good evening to your viewers. I think that we all know that this has not been fully operationalized, but it is good to hear that there is a concrete effort to try and address the challenges. Because seriously, we have drawn pictures of the level of devastation of our environment, particularly the land after illegal mining, if you like. Yeah. And the extent of the devastation is such that you definitely require a lot of resources to be able to do that. So yes, government has launched that and it might be good, but its full operationalization, I'm sure we are yet to see.
Very well. Now, government is looking at reclaiming about 3 million hectares of degraded land. Given the approach adopted, the resources also available, and the work that has been done so far, do you think that government is on track as far as this program is concerned?
No, reclamation is good. It's, the land after mining must be available for other activities. And that is the beauty of mining. If you mine well, you only take the mineral resources in the belly of the earth, and then the land can be rehabilitated for other activities. So that is good. But, there's always the quickness to talk about what you intend to do and what can be done in actuality. So we are waiting to see. And again, it's not like it cannot be done, but it is difficult to do it, but we should start from somewhere.
Well, it has started, and 1 year already gone. Do you think we are on track? Are we making some progress? And
I think the pace is extremely slow. If we go along this same pace, I'm afraid we won't get anywhere, because we're talking about almost every part in the southern region, the southern part of Ghana, and some part in the northern region, and these are significant devastation. So I think we have started. It's good to start, but I think it's quite slow, very, very slow, and we cannot tout it as a full-blown rehabilitation.
And finally, Dr. Obin, the president also mentioned that his administration in 2021 intensified the fight against illegal mining. Does the evidence on the ground support this?
Well, to be fair, you would see that the level of intensity of illegal mining has gone down a bit. I mean, there's no doubt about that. If you drive along the roads where illegal mining used to be very intensive, it's gone down. But by and large, I would say that quite a number are still doing it. You cannot keep the military or the state security forces in the places. So what happens is that the state agencies will go there in the morning, and then in the evening, there are some people who work in the evening. There are those who watch, but they know that the state security forces will go there and leave, because that is where they stay. And then they will go. And so there's a requirement for some element of survival, some survivability. How do they survive post-mining? I am not saying that because of that, illegal activities must be allowed. However, it is extremely important that those you move must have something else to do. Otherwise, they go back.
And Doc, just before you go, let me put you on the spot. How do you rate government effort when it comes to the land and natural resources sector on a scale of 1 to 10?
Look, it's very difficult, especially when I haven't had time to do that analysis. But I would give government. I think it's a long way to go. I mean, I think it will struggle to go to 5, but it's a long way to go. The good thing is that it has started, and it is important to start and be sustained in a way, and we should move politics away from this activity, because one of the problems we have in this country is that where some people may be stopped from doing some activity, you may have others doing it, and they will claim that they are untouchable. So I think that impunity, if it goes, government can speed up its effort to push things. But at the moment, I will be charitable at 50%.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Tony Obin, CEO of the African Institute of Extractive Industries and former boss of the Minerals Commission. Thank you, Doc, and a Merry Christmas. Let's do some other stories here on Joy News Prime. Private legal practitioner Kweku Pencil has described as strange and not enforceable a police warning to pastors and other religious leaders against prophecies that are likely to cause fear and panic and disturb public peace. The caution by the police comes ahead of the annual 31st Watch Night services held across the country, often characterized by prophecies. The police says while freedom of religion is guaranteed under the Constitution, the communication of prophecies of harm and danger and death by some religious leaders can cause tension in the country. But speaking in an exclusive interview with my colleague Kweku Asante, Kweku Pencil warned that any attempt by the state through the police to control the terrain of prophecies will infringe on the right to religion and freedom of speech.
I really have my doubt if there is a proper legal basis for the police statement. I can see the police statement as any statement, any advice that any public interested body may wish to convey to the citizens or to people of this country. It's like anybody advising a pickpocket that around Christmas there's a lot of pickpocketing and we are even more alert than ordinary times, and if you engage in pickpocketing, this is what we do. But the difficulty about the police statement, as I find it, is generally about the difficulty about enforcing speech, what to say, what not to say. Don't forget that with not only criminal aspect of it, we also have the civil aspect of freedom of speech. So my freedom to speak will not permit me to, for instance, defame you. The difficulty is whether a court of law, for instance, can make an order directed to me not to defame you. There can be no such power of the court. But as soon as I defame the person, the course of action arises. In the same way with prophecies, indeed, dealing with these ones, we are even getting into spiritual matters. And the whole idea of what somebody is likely to say to find himself liable in criminal conviction for a statement that he has made is quite murky. That's the way I will put it. Because the idea, or what the police said, indeed, legislation exists for speech, hate speech, speeches or statements that are likely to create panic and fear and so forth and so on. But the crunch, the real issue is the ability of the police or any complainant to demonstrate that any particular speech or any particular statement that anybody made or, yes, made created fear and panic. And that's the difficulty. It has not happened, to my knowledge, whether anybody has even been convicted in this country for any kind of speech, especially with regard to a church activity.
President of the Ghana Charismatic and Pentecostal Council, Reverend Dr. Paul Frimpong Manson, has welcomed the latest statement from the police, and speaking to Joy News, he lauded the police for their proactiveness on this issue.
And when we talk about policing, we are talking about peace, safety, and security of the populace. So if there's anything that will bring peace, safety, and security, then they should be on board. And it's good that they have been proactive to some of these things. On the other hand, our Constitution guarantees freedom of religion and freedom of association, but our freedom should be within the framework of the Constitution. One's freedom should not also affect another person's freedom or safety and security. Well, as a Christian and a Bible preacher. I believe in prophecy. That is God speaking to his people now. I also believe in predictive prophecy, that God speaking into the future. And some prophets, whether we like it or not, will make some of us uncomfortable. Some will give us comfort. To me, prophecy is not wrong, but how we deliver it, the fears and the threats that are associated with. So the police statement, I read one line which gave me some form of consolation, that they are not against prophecy, they are not opposed to it. But if you follow the last few years, most of the prophecies that come, especially at the 31st December, is about who will die. Police is trying to say is that we should be cautious, we should be ethical, we should handle some of these things well.
He also explained that they will continuously engage the police administration on matters that deal with issues of their members and the clergy going forward.
Well, we have already met them, I think, some few months ago when the IGP took office. He invited all the faith leaders and we had a chat. The challenge was that those people who actually give these prophecies were not part of the meeting. And that was the problem. And so I remember people saying that the police are banning prophecy. That was never the case. But they were telling us how we should cooperate with them to bring peace in the nation. You see somebody kicking against a pregnant woman in the church. It was abnormal. These are some of the excesses the police were guiding us. They were advising us that we should be careful and exercise restraint in whatever we do. I think at the moment they haven't engaged with us again, but I have read their piece. But what gave me consolation is that they are not against prophecies, one of the bullet points. And so I think they are not going to witch hunt prophets. But then if you also go over the board, I don't think you will go scot-free, because many times the Bible even tells us that when prophets prophesy and the prophecy doesn't come true, the person should be stoned. So if there should be some kind of things that will bring sanity in the prophetic ministry.
So what are your thoughts on this? We've been speaking to some of you on the street of Accra.
Give a prophecy which doesn't come in on. Every prophecy must be fulfilled. So if you use your own mind, then you are doing something against God. That's my version. Because you are causing, false alarm in the public, and people are panic.
Pastors come up with some kind of prophecies that, in a way, it's contradicting the peace and the stability of the nation. So, well, I would say it is in a way to regulate the kind of prophecies that comes out this year. That is also not to say that there wouldn't be any genuine prophecies that will be coming out. Yes, definitely there are genuine men of God that are going to come out with prophecies. But there are also the bad nuts that will be coming out with so many prophecies that I think, in a way, if you should invite whoever that prophecy is for and give it privately to the person and direct the person, it will rather order word than to make it public and to for it to cause some kind of I don't know how to, for the lack of better word to use, confusion. You understand? So I think it's in order to regulate the way prophecies are going to come out this year. Yeah. So that's my take on that.
When there's a prophecy, we should rather pray towards what God has revealed and not create issues out of it. It's important for us to keep walking on the right path.
The question is, how are they going to know if it is a false prophecy or not? That's the first thing. Most of our pastors and prophets, they make a lot of statements, but, well, how can that be measured?
So those are some of your views on this issue. You're watching Johnny's Prime with me, and Astimini. We're taking a break. When we return, we'll bring you business as Ghana gets blacklisted by Emirates over possible fears of the Omicron variant. Aviation experts subject some passenger measures to scrutiny.
It's time for business. I'm Charles Ayatil. We are picking information that the temporary suspension of flights to Ghana by Emirates Airline is indefinite until further notice. Now, an official statement by the airline was tight-lipped on the reasons for the actions, but then experts suspect the Omicron variant could have contributed to their decision. On the screen currently is the update from the website, but first though, let's take a report on what this all means. Report. Of course, this particular update we're seeing on our screens is from Emirates Airlines, where it cites the various countries and cities that have been, shortlisted, blacklisted in that regard within their purview for the suspension of flights. We're seeing Republic of Angola, we're seeing the Republic of Guinea, we're seeing Republic of Kenya, and Tanzania, Uganda, as well as Cote d'Ivoire, and as well the Republic of Ethiopia. Let's now bring you a summary of all this particular, play out by Emirates Airlines in this report. Management of Emirates Airlines in a statement stated that the public must be advised that the carriage of all passengers to and from Abidjan has been suspended. However, flight from Dubai to Accra will continue to carry all passengers. It further stated, passengers on Emirates flights are also advised to contact the agent for rescheduling or refunds, as the airline will not fly from Accra and Abidjan starting the 27th of December 2021. The reason behind the suspension, however, remains unknown, but close sources within the aviation industry suggest the Omicron variant could be informing this decision. It comes at the back of stringent travel restrictions put on some countries, including Ghana, a few days ago, where more PCR tests were required before entry into the UAE. So far, Ghana has also placed some temporary travel restrictions on 3 countries, including Israel, amidst concerns over the surge in Omicron variant from their passengers. Meanwhile, aviation expert Shawn Mendes has been kicking against travel restrictions amid the spread of the Omicron variant, saying that it breaches the trust in the aviation industry. Well, Joy Business has been engaging aviation expert Shawn Mendes, who suspects that passengers are presenting fake COVID-19 test results.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily a decision that Emirates has taken in isolation. This is probably something that Emirates has done in close consultation with the Dubai government and indeed with the UAE government. Also, I don't think this is necessarily reflective of a very high number of cases in Ghana or in the other countries that are also being banned. From what I understand, a primary reason for bringing in these restrictions on travel from these countries has been the high number of false negative reports which passengers are showing up with in the UAE when they do their on-arrival testing. And this is something we've known has been a problem in Ghana and other parts of Africa as well, where passengers are able to procure negative test results without actually doing the test or even after testing positive. And this is something that's becoming a very big threat to the UAE, especially with a more transmissible variant like Omicron. They have the Expo 2020 ongoing. This is the peak of their tourist season over there, and it's a risk that they really can't afford to take, to have passengers who are potentially positive despite pre-flight testing reports to be coming on their flights into Dubai. So I think that is a prime reason that is behind this, more than just seeing a spike of cases in Ghana alone. Well, I think the impact on Ghana is actually going to be quite significant because, Emirates has been a very important carrier for transporting people from Ghana to points east. So that's been India, the Middle East, Far East, and so forth. So I think that definitely is going to affect the connectivity from Ghana. That said, I don't quite see a lot of airlines, running to follow suit with this. I think, as I mentioned before, these decisions are not taken by airlines in isolation, they're taken by governments. And we've seen what the EU has done, and the EU even backtracking on a lot of its restrictions. The US, the UK have also backtracked on some of their travel restrictions because of Omicron. So I think it's a very different situation with those carriers. I think travel to in the Western Hemisphere is going to be okay for now.
Do stay with us for more details as and when, of course, the airline lifts up this particular suspension in the near future. But that's it for business. I'm Charles Aite. The bulletin continues.
Hello and welcome to the sport. I'm Gary Smith. Merry Christmas to you, everybody. And in today's news, a former management committee chairman, Wilfred Osei-Kweku, aka Palmer, has doubted that the current crop of players of the Black Stars are good enough to end Ghana's 40-year wait to win the Africa Cup of Nations. Now, speaking to Joy Sports, Mr. Palmer noted that the players do not compete at the highest level against their peers, and that will make it difficult to win the title in February.
Before I vouch for Ghana, so far as the AFCON is concerned. But if I'm not wearing my national colors or hat, I will tell you that's a Herculean task for us to achieve. This is how I've done my analysis over the period. To win the AFCON, you need the caliber of players playing at a certain level in Europe, particularly English Premiership. Just juxtapose that on what Mo Salah is doing for Liverpool in England, what Mane is doing for Liverpool you have Mendy doing for Chelsea in England. It should clearly tell you that, but for Partey, none of our players will be playing at a certain level, even Arsenal.
But we have Daniel Amate there.
Leicester. But when you do comparative analysis of what the stride or the trail that these people are blazing in these leagues, we come next. We don't get close to them. You look at Nigeria. I was surprised to see them struggle. So I was very direct. The technical director or the coach could not give them what they are looking for. I wasn't surprised when finally I was told he's been sacked. Ghana is always capable of doing anything.
All right. Don't forget that the Africa Cup of Nations kicks off in 12 days in Yaoundé in Cameroon, and the Black Stars are currently camping in Qatar, where 12 players are currently finishing the preparations towards the tournament. Palmer believes they can't win it. What do you think? I'm sure the conversation will be going on. Let's do some transfer news now, where Ferran Torres has returned to Spain after completing his move from Manchester City to Barcelona on a 5-year deal earlier today. We have more sports on myjoyonline.com. Head over for more updates on the AFCON, the Black Stars, and more. I'm Gary Smith, and that's the sport for now.
And of course, I have the Honorable Noella Cariniani.
That's right. You learn well.
Yeah, I'm a good student.
Right.
Merry Christmas.
Many happy returns. Except I didn't get any gifts from you, but that's fine. It's very typical of you. So yeah, it's fine.
My lawyers for defaming me on air.
No, don't worry. So I
just returned from Shire Hills.
That's right. I just came back from the Shire Hills Forest Reserve, where the first edition of Wildaland, an experience like none other. I don't think something like that has happened in Ghana before. Had a beautiful 2-day, away from Accra. Went all the way into a jungle, like a forest.
Is it for 2 days, or you left after 2 days?
2 days, actually. It's a Sunday and Monday.
Okay.
And I had a fantastic time. Beautiful performances from the likes of Davido, Adekunle Gold, Stone Boy. The list is endless. And it will take me a year if I want to tell you about my experience right there at the Shire Hills Forest Reserve. So I've capped everything up in a highlight for you.
We the fight. 1, 2, 3 boys for front, 5 boys for back. Saturday night, 2 night boys for knock. Are you sleeping on a bicycle or it's just a nap? Payday the problem. Welcome to my residence. Barack Obama, I'm your president. A hundred pills. I'm coming my business. Hey! You just need to avoid this. Hey! That's one coming to this. Why? Hear me the call. Hear me the call. Obi is me. Me from here. Hear me the call. Then is me what you. This is the so from Saturday and a very every Many no 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, now we go. Yo.
Well, it looks like it was really fun.
I'm telling you. I mean, I had an amazing time there. Okay. But I spoke to some of the artists that performed on the night, and they all had, good compliments to share about the festival.
This is like the Reggae Song Fest in Jamaica, and I've been there. This is like the Song Fest in Cologne, Germany, and I've been there. This is like the Bombocla Festival in Belgium, and I've been there. Listen, I've been to all of the big festivals in the globe. Maybe we're gonna do more. I'm happy that we have this in Ghana. All I have to say is big up to Sadiq, big up to the organization. I know this year, you guys ain't gonna make no money. You guys just gonna spend money. Maybe next year, maybe the other. But the most important thing is the equity and the value that you add to the entertainment industry in Africa. And God Almighty will make sure you make your money back.
Honestly, the truth is, when I was coming, I was a bit scared because Forest, I've watched many Nigerian movies, so Forest, they scare me. But when I got here, like looking at the setup, looking at how organized everything, like everybody has their tents, like everything is such an amazing concept. A party far away from home where the crowd is gingered. Like, listen, I hope they come back next year because this is something that I want to see continue. So shout out to the whole crew that put together Wildaland. It's amazing. And see, the stage was huge. And yeah, I love it. I love it. They should come back next year. They should, push it more, promote it more, get people out of Accra. Accra, they be people should just travel to the forest. It sounds scary, but travel to the forest to have a good time, yeah.
It looks like the applause has not ended. Yeah. Everybody had fun. Yeah. And kudos to Sadiq and the team.
Of course. I mean, am I going to do this next year? Absolutely, because I believe, it has great potential. And with Sadiq and his team, everything and anything is possible. So yeah, you should watch out.
And for defaming me, maybe I'll come with you next year.
Yeah, you should.
Thank you very much, Ola, for bringing that showbiz. That's it for our show tonight. You find more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Ernest Menu. Merry Christmas.